So is the Arrma 4S Outcast worth the money? Let's find out. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are well. And today in this video we're going to be discussing the Arrma Outcast 4S, and we're going to find out if it's worth it. So I picked this truck up over the summer when the 4S lineup came out by Arrma. I was super pumped. I wanted something that was a little bit smaller than my 6S trucks, and they said it was a 10th scale rig, so I thought that it was going to be just a great size. I just wanted something that wasn't so involved that I'd just throw a battery in and drive, and I figured that something like this was going to be great. But to my surprise, it's actually a pretty gnarly basher, and it's not as small as I thought it was going to be. But overall, the size is pretty nice. I paid $400 for this truck at the time. Right now you can get it on sale pretty much everywhere. They're doing $40 off, so you can pick it up for $360, and at that price I think that is real sweet. That is a super good spot because you can get to one of the weaknesses with that money you save rather quickly, but we will discuss that a little bit later. So going over the truck, it is a pretty much all plastic build. Overall, it's not too bad except in a few key areas. So positives about it, I would say definitely is this BLX 4S system. It comes with a big heat sink and a fan, and it runs good. It's got plenty of power in this small truck. I did not think that power was an issue. The other positive, they're not on here because they're so good. I took them off to put on my 6S rig, are the tires that come on this truck. So you get the low profile deboots backflips, and they are sweet. Right now these are regular Proline Badland 3.8s, which I think are a little bit better size. The backflips were a little bit big, and I thought that they hooked up so well, I wanted to try them on my crate, and I seen people were doing that, so I put those on there. But even on this truck, I mean, you can just tap throttle, and with those big tires, it just, you know, loops right around, and it just does backflips and front flips with ease. Another positive with the plastic build is you know, it's pretty cheap to fix. Like the chassis I broke, you can get it on Jenny's RC for like $4. So, you know, it's not a big deal. These shock towers are integrated in like the top piece that covers like the diff and everything, so it's kind of all one piece, and that was super cheap. Arms, I broke one arm, and those weren't too expensive. So, you know, that is a positive to this rig, is if you break it, at least it's, you know, cheap to fix. Another positive is the body. Super cool. I really love the styling on it. It works great. I like how Arrma does these bigger posts. The holes are great, and it just slides on, and it's got these little doodads here, you know. So overall, I think that it's pretty sweet. It's got this nice roll cage in it with the bolts on it, so when you flip over, those kind of wear, you know, and make sparks or whatever. But it's pretty solid. I do have one good crack right here in it, but you know, it's holding up overall because I have taken a few good tumbles with this truck. It steers well. Factory servo definitely is a weak spot. I would say when you're getting into the negatives on this truck, that the servo is definitely probably the weakest spot. The motor runs good, the ESC is good, but the servo is the only downside of electronics on this, other than the radio. Motor and ESC, phenomenal. Radio, servo, garbage. So that is the only other drawback to this rig, is it comes with this Spectrum STX radio here, and really it is no good. I do not like this radio. What I did to mine was I put a Traxxas foam wheel on it, but I think I might just actually replace it with a Traxxas RTR radio, but it might not even be worth it because I just get a receiver, I guess. But that and the servo really are going to be the only electronic change I would make to this. I like how the ESC goes onto the receiver cover. on this, but the only problem is if you do want to upgrade, you're going to have to kind of get creative, because the holes that hold the box on also are lined up for the tabs on the ESC, so it all goes on as one piece, which kind of cuts down on the, you know, aftermarketability, ease of use, because you're not going to be able to just get something on there. You're going to have to shave the tabs off to get the ESC to fit flat, or I don't know, something to get it in there. Servo setup is actually not that bad. I replaced it with the Savox 1210 SG pretty quick, and the way the horn comes down with the Servo Saver underneath here, you just stick your wrench in. It's actually pretty simple, so that's always good, because servos are things that you know, you switch kind of often. If you're bashing hard, you kind of, you know, it's hard to find the perfect servo. I like to switch it up. So when you can swap your servo out easily, I really enjoy that in a design. Moving on to the rest of the build, you do have plastic drive shafts. No big deal on those. They have held up so far. I wish they were metal, but for now, just kind of, you know, at this price point, I guess that's kind of what you get. All right, so time to discuss, in my opinion, the biggest downside of this truck, and that would be these plastic bodied shocks. They leak, and they leak often. The feel of them is not too bad, but I mean, I really wish they would have gave you a metal option. You can see here in the back, I do have some metal shocks. These come off the front of my V2 Creighton, and they're just a little short, so I just run a lot of preload, and I got my ride height to be pretty level, and they do feel good. I got 40 weight in them. They're not too springy. I think the dampening is pretty good on them, so I'm happy with that. I just have to go on Jenny's RC and find a pair of Typhon rear shocks, no, Typhon front shocks, I believe. So I did get some digital calipers. Those are coming in, so I will be able to get the exact size of these. There's just some things it's hard to find the information online exactly what you want, so I just got to get a measuring device, measure them, and then I'll know exactly what the distance is eye to eye. But once you do a servo upgrade and upgrade these shocks to metal, I think that this is a really hard truck to beat. If you prefer the longer wheelbase, you can go with the Creighton. It's the same thing, just the chassis is a little bit longer. Never drove one. I'm assuming it handles really good, because this short wheelbase truck handles really good. But some of that, I think, is to do, I put these slightly smaller tires on it, so I think that kind of helps in the handling department, and that's one thing I like about it, because I think this little truck rips. Overall, it's a great truck. And getting down to the main subject, is it worth it? I say absolutely. Even at $400, it's a pretty solid hard truck to beat. At $360 right now, with the sale going on, I don't know what else you'd buy that would have this kind of power and this price for quality, top brands. I think that it's really hard to beat, because you got the 4S Traxxas Max, and that truck's expensive, and you still got a lot of plastic going on. They did release some metal parts, but then you're spending more money. So who this truck is for? So I think this truck is for someone who's maybe had a basher, a low-end basher, and you're looking to upgrade, but you're not really wanting to go all the way up to 6S and an 8th scale. If you want to do have something that is reliable and do some light to hard bashing, you're covered. It's a durable truck. You can send it. I mean, I jumped this thing pretty high, and it has been pretty durable. I broke it in the skate park, the wing and an arm, and it was like 30 degrees. And when I broke the chassis, it was really cold out, and I landed right on it. It was kind of like a freak accident, but I think this is something you could kind of keep in your vehicle and just pull out and bash with confidence. If you already have 6S trucks, unless you're someone who is into just all kinds of different vehicles, I don't really think that you'd get anything out of getting this other than it's just a smaller truck. Everyone has their preferences. I had 6S, I had a Revo and a Creighton. I wanted something smaller, so that's why I came to this. Beginners, it's not a horrible beginner truck. Like if you're already into RC and you're looking to get a basher and you think you're going to use it, because then you don't really have to spend as much as a 6S truck, and it does have room for upgrade ability, and it's durable, and you can still send it and have a lot of fun. You're not going to kind of feel left out. So it kind of sits right there in the middle for, you know, a few different types of people. But it is 100% worth it in my opinion. So let me know what you guys think. Is the 4S Outcast worth it to you? Do you have one? Are you interested in getting one? Let me know. All right, guys, that is going to be it for this episode of Is It Worth It? Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave me a like, leave a comment down below, and as always, you know the deal. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.